Hi, I'm Sanne Otilia. I'm an intuitive mentor and have the domain intuitivementor.com. We, Denmark and Copenhagen, had the honor of Dalai Lama visiting us last week. And as you might know, Dalai Lama preaches compassion, forgiveness and love. I do not believe that terrorism will decrease, sadly, but it will increase if you and I don't increase, I hope that's the right word, if we don't increase the love and compassion and forgiveness. Should we forgive someone who practices or does terrorist actions? No. But as Dalai Lama said to us here in Denmark, suffering is lack of knowledge. And if you and I, as Dalai Lama said, which is also my belief, if we only practice one religion or live in a certain way, if we believe in so much in spirituality, you and I are just as bad as the one who is a terrorist. I might offend someone, but we should always be open for each other. We should be open for each other's beliefs and religions. And that is what Dalai Lama said here in my notes. There's a couple of pages. I am not saying that you and I are terrorists, but we should not believe in something, no matter what it is, so much that we cannot embrace people where they are. Like, for example, I'm spiritual, but I'm not very spiritual, like many people might believe that I am, because if I were very spiritual, I wouldn't have the mental capacity to embrace other people's beliefs. So Dalai Lama said it again and again, respect other people's personal beliefs. Even though you and I don't disagree, respect them. Well, should we respect people who demeanor women? No, of course we shouldn't. But the one who needs to stand up for that woman is the woman herself. And you and I should look on the brighter perspective on how can you and I change the world from where we are this moment. Because when you are complaining and when I am complaining, does that make a difference? Does that improve the world and make it a more loving and harmonic world? Sorry. If I were very, very spiritual, I would be a preacher that said, don't eat meat, don't drink wine, don't fart, don't swear like I always does on my videos, don't do this and don't do that, don't do that. That is a wrong belief. That is a negative way of living. So don't believe in something so much that there is no room, compassion, forgiveness and love for other people who doesn't live like you have chosen to. Dalai Lama also said he is not His Holiness, which is also something that I don't like. I might be an alchemist and a psychic and have the ability to see previous lives, but I'm not less and I'm not more of a human than anyone else is. I'm just myself. I'm Sanne. I might be, which I am, an angelic person. I am a crystal person, but I'm just a human. Like Dalai Lama said, I'm just human. I'm nothing else. When he was sitting up there, we were watching him at the big screen, Dalai Lama. He was sitting there picking his nose and he was just himself. Letting you know and I know that he's just a human, nothing else. Even though I am here, I'm not that big in Denmark, but soon my YouTube video has been watched about 80,000 times. I'm still just me, I'm Sanne. Just a human with all my flaws and imperfections. So Dalai Lama said to you and I, which is what this video is going to be about, it's going to be a follow-up about what Dalai Lama spoke about in Copenhagen this February 2015, because some of my mentees and clients and followers have asked me, Sanne, what was it about? Please tell me some more. So he said, I am not less, I am not more of a human than anyone else. When Dalai Lama does what he does, and when I do what I do, we have a lot of people in our hands. That's a great, great, great power, but we have to be very, very aware not to abuse this power of having other people's faith in our hands. It's always about being open, forgiving, compassionate and loving and caring for the one who comes in, and let us go of all our negative beliefs and religions and way of living. I for many years thought that I have to live in a certain way. I cannot have my lovely cappuccino after until 12. Who said that? That's the wrong belief. It's just a little thing, but take the bigger picture. If you're spiritual, you have to. You're not allowed to eat meat. You're not allowed to drink. You're not allowed to slaughter animals. You're not allowed to kill a spider. Come on, we're still human. We need the meat, but we don't need this much meat, or a pig per week, or a chicken per week. We just need a little bit of protein every day. It is important that we get the protein in our children too. So please, this lecture, this speech was going to be about Dalai Lama, but it's also about my beliefs, which is that if you as a parent are choosing to be a vegetarian, please take care of your children. I have seen so many little children with grey skin, not properly developed, with saggy eyes as children. This is our kidney area, and it's so sad that many parents choose to live in a certain way and both expose their children to being bullied, but they also expose their children's health and growth by choosing to live in a certain way. This is the wrong way of living. This is life. How many times per week do I eat meat? 1 or 1.5 times per week in average. Sometimes I might increase depending on how many clients I have, and because I'm used to being in a wheelchair a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, so I have to take care of myself. But we don't need meat, animal meat every day, because we can also get protein from, what's the word for spelt, which is a corn, better than wheat. Well, I'm not going to speak about proteins, but we also have proteins in some in rice, in the Danish yogurt that comes from Iceland, Danish yogurt from Iceland, skyr. My English isn't perfect, and I apologize, I'm just a human. Well, another thing that Dalai Lama said, we have two families. One family has lots of money, they're very wealthy, but the children aren't well. They're always arguing. None of them have a good health. They constantly attract viruses and influences and fevers. And then we have another family, which is very, very poor, but they're happy. They're thriving, is that the word? They're doing well. They're filled with love. Do you know what the difference between this family and this family is? With the poor family, with barely any diseases or illnesses or anything, and this wealthy family who has lots of bad health problems? Love. No, it was that one. Love. Love in a home, or in you and in I, makes a huge difference. You can have lots of money, lots of resources. And if there is no love, if there is not a loving, forgiving, compassionate environment in this home, everyone will have bad health. And the children won't be harmonic children who's feeling good, but this home will. The poor people, or the normal family, where love and forgiveness and compassion is the main focus in this house, because they focus on getting the most of it. They are, grateful, and again, compassionate, forgiving, and loving. I have been a black belt in self-sabotage. I have hated myself. I have hated being here and in this body. I've hated being a female, and I was 10 years in the Danish army. I was about to die 7 times, and the seventh time I ended up in a wheelchair. And I realized, I get it. For 28 years, I have been the Sanne, which is my name, Susanne, without the Sue. For 28 years, I've been the Sanne that I thought I should be. I hated being in my body because my body was filled with traumas and fears from assault and beating up in my childhood, which was a bad childhood. I was mad at myself and everyone. I was doubting myself and everyone. I had a horrible life and I didn't want to live anymore. But the lack of love for myself, despite my horrible childhood, made me live in pain, physical pain, for many, many, many years, because physical pain comes from mental and emotional pain. So the best way to heal yourself is to be compassionate and loving and forgiving when it comes to oneself. I am a very high aware person, which I'm still just human, and I should know better sometimes when I get but I am just human. But my ability to forgive myself when I did it and say apologize to my friend or whoever it was, that's what's keep me on track. So remember always to be compassionate about yourself. Forgive yourself for your flaw. Forgive your past. Forgive yourself for being so hard on yourself. Because what also gives you and I physical pain is when we have high standards. If we live this very focused, intense life and there's no room for living and caring and enjoying and being. Dalai Lama also said, appreciate the elements and the nature more. Oh, I get it all excited because the nature out there, all the elements, fire, water, earth, and air, which is the 4 elements. The elements and the nature is free healing. It's available 24 hours per day, 365 days per year. Free healing, just out there. So he said, really, really appreciate the elements and the nature. And I do believe that the Danish people are very good at it. As soon as the sun comes from the sky, the Danes go out and enjoy it and go for a walk. Whenever there's a sunny day, people go to the cafe even though it's cold because they just sit outside with a blanket. Perhaps it's mostly the smokers. No, I'm just kidding. Do I have anything against people that smoke? No. But don't complain about your life. Don't complain about your health. Don't complain about the lack of energy if you're smoking. And that is also something that Dalai Lama talked about. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. If we smoke, we have less energy. We have bad health. We have less oxygen in our body. That means we get older before time because the collagen from our skin removes, which makes our skin go saggy. Another thing is when you smoke, you're suppressing your true, healthy, divine self. And when you do that, you're doing the same to your children. A friend of mine constantly experienced that her children aren't developing in a progress way. They're not constantly developing. And I'm like, well, you're constantly saying goodbye to the cigarettes and taking them back. So no wonder your children aren't progressively growing. I think I got it. If I, Sanne, for example, I used to have every seventh day a candy day. Oh, it was good, but I got so sick. Look, I ate the candy, I got sick, cause and effect. That's the law of karma. What you give to yourself, you give to your children. So don't your children deserve a better life? But when I ate the candy every seventh day, my metabolism wasn't as high, and I had to make an extra effort the days after I ate the candy to make my cells vibration increase again. So today I eat my candy every 10th or 14th day, and I get so sick, and I still do it. But I am aware of the cause and effect. But if I go back and have my candy every 7th day, I do decrease my personal development. It's kind of like, as we here back on Mother Earth as human beings, to evolve and develop as a human being, if we constantly eat too much sugar or fat, pre-fabricated food, non-organic food, are smoking, not training, we go down. And if we then choose to live healthy again, we shouldn't have all these bumps on the road. And bumps on the road is your choice, and it's my choice. If you might look around in my apartment, where is it? Down there in the corner. There, I have posters with my goals. Goal mapping. Yay, I love goal mapping. Done by Brian Main. And you can see I have more posters. How do I show you that? There. Lots of posters with goals. Because goals keep you and I on track. Goals keep us on track. We need something to look forward to. Like giving the horse a carrot to look forward to when it's done, it's right. So appreciate yourself, appreciate your health, and do be aware as a parent when you're not being good to yourself, you're doing the same thing to your children. Remember the cause and effect. Even though you smoke and you can't stop, but think about your health. I'm going to tell you something about my eating disorder I used to have. 1 second. Cheers. Water and tea. I used to have bulimia many years back ago. It was under control, and I knew that I could stop it. No, I couldn't stop it, but it wasn't, the bulimia didn't have the power over me. But then I realized, if I throw up, my meridian, which is here on the front of my body, closes. When that closes, my stomach closes, and the energies of my body can't flow as free as they normally would. Hey, don't you like my earrings? I've never worn gold before, which is from my friend miamills.com. I'll tag her underneath. And I also realized that with these 7 chakras I used to have, because today I only have 1 chakra, just like the new children, my chakras would close. And our chakras is 7 wheels in our body, and if one chakra closes, the other one closes too. So I realized, oh, I throw up and this does that to my body, I'm gonna stop. In the beginning, I still overloaded myself with unhealthy food, but I said to myself, I'm gonna overeat, and that's okay, but I am not gonna throw up again. And then I was cured. No, sorry, that's a T. No more bulimia. Dalai Lama also said, please be messengers of love and compassion. Even though there might be a foreign out there, that is what I call people who aren't always acting politely. I said, if someone is not always behaving well, just still be compassionate, be forgiving, be loving, because what that person might need is just your love, your forgiveness, and your compassion. When someone is being horrible to you and I, they do it out of fear. If we women overeat, if we, what's the word when we say, when we snare, when we don't speak well to each other, we do it out of fear. Everything that each one of us does, we does out of fear. And once we know what that fear is about and where it comes from, we can change that pattern. I'm an expert in permanently self-sabotage removal because I have developed my own regression therapy technique, because I have had this horrible childhood and I had post-traumatic stress and I didn't want to live anymore. And I was like, this is my life, I'm going to take back my power. So I used an inner child therapy technique to heal myself up and get rid of all my childhood's traumas, and then I had the post-traumatic stress, and with my ability to see right through your body with my x-ray, I looked into myself and I was like, oh, when I have post-traumatic stress, my nervous systems and my brains aren't functioning well. They kind of like goes like that and get over tensed. And I developed some mantras to remove my post-traumatic stress, combined with my regression therapy technique. So I have no more post-traumatic stress today. And as you might see, I am a very, very sensitive person. I see and hear everything, but today it's the biggest asset. It's my greatest gift, being capable of reading and helping other people and feeling their body, because when I have you around me, as a client or on the phone, I feel everything that is going on in your body as well. Back to Dalai Lama. You know, you might not know this, or perhaps you do, but I love speaking. I love living. No, I love lifting and making a difference. Oh, I get all emotional. Sharing and giving and helping and healing others is my life purpose. I am the healer's healer. I am the master's master. And I love to have the honor of helping other people. But the clientele that I have the honor of having, my target group, is other passionate people who wants to make a difference in the world. So if I am going to have the honor of helping you, you have to have a healer's education or clairvoyant or astrology course or something like that, or know about health and nutrition, so that you can go out and make a difference for even more people. Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama said, you know that saying, turn your cheek? Does it help? No. Does it make the world a better place to be? No. But Dalai Lama said, only turn that cheek to the side a couple of times. But he did not say, give terror back to terrorists. Do not send hate back to haters. Do not send hate to the jealous people. He didn't give us a solution, but my opinion is that don't turn your cheek more than 2 or 3 times and then stand up for yourself and say, that will not be okay. I do not believe that we should, now having the attack that we have 2 days ago here in Copenhagen, I do not believe that we should seize our arms and our guns and our weapons and go out but I think we should increase the security and be more aware, and I do think that is what Denmark does. But I can also understand why people get offended when we draw cartoons or what do you call those, drawings, which is offending. If I know that you get mad when I say blue, if you're my friend and you have a thing with blue or clowns, I would not constantly provoke you. Again, cause and effect, which we all know about, hopefully, and which also Dalai Lama spoke about. So do not give back what you get, but give what you want to receive. So if you want peace in the world, send out peace. If you want less terrorism, what's the antagonist to terrorism, which is love, compassionate and healing? And think before we act. It is not okay what happened this weekend, but we should not provoke each other, even though we have the liberty of free speech here in Denmark. We should make peace, not war. Always focus, as Dalai Lama also said, on being a good example. Be a good example at any time, and I know it's so hard. Do you know what's good? When I'm making English videos, I'm not swearing. High five. He said always focus on being a good example, but he also said being loving, being caring and compassionate and forgiving takes and requires a constantly effort. Constantly. It is not something that we can, it is something that we were born with, and then we experienced a lot of bad things, and we put on anger, resentment, doubt, insecurity, fear, and stuff like that. But he said, Dalai Lama, it is, and we should always practice, focus on a constantly effort to be compassionate, loving, and forgiving. It takes a constantly effort. Constantly. It takes a constantly effort for one to go from an unhealthy life to a healthy life. It requires something, which is an effort. If you want a better life, it requires an effort. Cause and effect. If we want something, look at that gap between my hands and I. That cannot be a cause and effect if I don't do anything. If I live an unhealthy life, the cause is that I will get bad skin, I will have bad health, I will get obese. So, he also said, Dalai Lama, as you might have heard that I said a couple of minutes ago, respect other people's faith. Do not demeanor or provoke other religions. It has an effect. Do not provoke other people, because it will have an effect. Cause and effect. Everything is combined. So when I was doubting myself, I attracted people who doubted me. When I had my finger, that one, and were angry at everyone, I attracted angry persons and clientele. Cause and effect. Dalai Lama also said, love, he mentioned the word altruism, which I then Googled, and altruism is that loving and caring and being compassionate, that there is room for everyone. But he also said that love really affects our health. So lack of love is bad for our health. Lots of love and compassion and forgiving is good for our health. When your health is good, your economy will become better. So look at a cause and effect. If I'm not treating myself well, I'll have a bad economy. I'll have bad relationships. I will have a bad business. But if I treat myself well and respect myself and know my value and stand up for it, I will increase the relationships I have in my life, as well as my health, my energy, and my economy, because everything has a cause and effect. So you might be out here in your life, let's say out here, close to the screen. Something is bothering you out there in your life, but that's just the cause, and that's the effect. That's the effect. The cause to that effect began in here. Mercy. He also spoke about mercy, the dearest Dalai Lama. Mercy. And also, always focus on being a good example. He also said not to blind believe in what other people say. So if someone might say, this is how it is, Google it. Connect with your inner divine self and feel if that feels true, feels right. We all have an inner psychic. We all have our inner divine power, which is divine. It's powerful. It has the power to heal and lift. And even though we might say apples are unhealthy, but we might have another experience. Well, when people say salami, sausage, is unhealthy, that's true, because that's kind of like common sense because of all the things that's in it and all the salt and stuff like that and all the E numbers. But he says use your common sense, not just be completely naive and take what everything tells you for good. But as I may have the honor of adding, there's a big difference between being a realist and Googling and being open and experience deep into things, and then being skeptical. The skeptical person belongs in this box where their skeptical religion is what their life is all about. Skeptics, people who practice a religion or something else too much, they end up getting... I hope you get the picture because I don't want to offend anyone, but we should all respect each other's beliefs. The women that has chosen to be incarnated in horrible life situations like me, who were assaulted as a child, we knew it. We knew it before we reincarnated back here on Mother Earth. Dalai Lama also said to meditate, just to meditate, is worth nothing. We do not get enlightened or any better if we meditate. If we don't meditate and do something else, it's just air. Many people just speak and speak and speak. They don't do, so it's worth nothing, all that speaking. If you are so passionate about something, do it. Stop talking about it. Start doing it. Because I and other people and our surroundings have more respect for the people who does what they're saying. Otherwise we'll just be preachers. And who likes preachers? Sorry, I offended someone again. I apologize. So meditate just for meditating is nothing. That's what Dalai Lama says, and I totally agree. I like Dalai Lama. He also said that suffering comes from a cause. So find out the cause of our suffering so that we can change the cause and go to the way where we get free of all the suffering. So he says again, suffering comes from a cause. Find that cause and dig into it. Change the suffering so you're leaving the path of suffering. I believe that's some of the Buddhism, their lectures, I think. He also said that suffering is lack of knowledge. People who live very unhealthy, they don't do it. They perhaps not do it because they're dumb or not intelligent. They might do it because they lack the capacity, the lack of mental capacity. Because one thing is to be fantastically intelligent, but you also need the mental capacity, the mental strength to, okay, I know I have to do this, I'm going to do it. But it requires constantly effort, like Dalai Lama told. Again, no, I'm not going to repeat that because I'm very good at repeating. Dalai Lama also said, everything depends on the eye of the viewer. So let's see, in front of you and I, we have a pig. Someone might see, I do not eat pigs. Another person might say, neat. And a third person might see, a human being, a brother or a sister, depending on their religion, because our cells and DNA are much similar to the pigs. And who has named the pig a pig? When the pig is a compassionate, well, it's not compassionate because it doesn't have that intelligence, but the pigs, like someone wrote in an article, don't smell, they don't sweat, and they don't eat their own poop like dog does. So when he said everything depends on the eyes of the viewer, I hope I said that correctly, and otherwise I apologize. I'm not perfect. It's also about respecting other people's religions. That Peter might not like the pig because he doesn't eat pig. Muhammad gets ill when he eats pigs, for example, if that was it. Laura loves the pig and sees it as a companion, as a human being which shouldn't be eaten. And another one sees meat. So we should respect each other's beliefs and leave these too harsh of a living. So when we get too religious, too skeptical, too focused on one thing, we get, what's the word for that? The Danish word is we get too focused. We get too intolerable. That's also another word. Dalai Lama also said, suffering is a lack of knowledge. I'm also going to see if he has more. Always be a good example. Always practice love, compassion, and forgiveness. Here it is. Dedication to a religion is not enough. We should study and develop and brighten our vision. I am spiritual, but I would like to know a little bit more about Hinduism and not Catholicism. I'm not that good with it. Catholicism, because no. But still something I like about the Catholicism. So I'm not totally antagonist to Catholicism. I would like to know more about the Muslims, because I've heard they have some, of course they do have some good sayings. I think we should all brighten our vision, just like Dalai Lama said. This will be the words for today. My name on Facebook is Sanne Otilia Philipson. I have an English web page on Facebook too, with English little posters. I love to talk, but I've spoken for 39 minutes and I'm gonna end it. I'm an expert in sensitivity handling, and I love what I do. I love speaking and holding speeches. I love to make a difference. Thank you so much for listening. I've really appreciated you listening to me. I do not hope that I have offended you. That's not my intention, but again, if I can offend you, that's good, because behind that anger I might provoke in you, behind that again there is compassion and happiness and forgiving. So I hope to have awakened that within you as well. I do think that you and I should be more attentive to our surroundings, and first ourselves and then our surroundings. But even though we have free speech, The liberty of free speech doesn't have, we don't have to use non-loving, caring words. But the most important thing in life is to be compassionate for yourself, even though when you're not at your best. Be forgiving with yourself when you're not at your best. Be loving with yourself at all times, and give that gift to others. For many people, it's much, much easier to be loving and forgiving out here, outside. But the bad health, the bad economy, the lack of energy, that is because the lack of love, compassion, and forgiving. Thank you so much for listening. Namaste, and enjoy your day. That was like, how do you say that? It rhymes. Namaste, enjoy your day.